And now for Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater, let's bring in your host, Lisa Condon. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Hank, and to everybody out there listening. It's so great to be here as usual. I'm really excited that today we're joined by Meghan Montaner. She's our Director of Education. And last week when we were talking about some of those frequently asked questions and, of course, what's going on at the Hanover Theater and Conservatory, especially with that bright spot, which would be our education team. So welcome, Meghan.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, the Behind the Scenes magazine is just starting to hit, and there's an article in there about the online learning in the arts. I want to tell our listeners a little bit about, things have changed rapidly, right? And the education department did a really good job at adapting, but talk to us about that experience for the students, and then what's planned next and what the response has been.
Sure. We, on March 14th, like many others, had to close and stop having our classes in person, but we took just 1 week to get all of our teachers trained on Zoom and offer over 100 classes online through the Zoom platform so that we could continue engaging with our students in a live way through the end of the semester. So we actually just finished up those classes on Monday, and we were really impressed with how many students were able to stick with us and what we were able to get out of that time online. Our students and parents are really appreciative to be able to continue to be connected with us and to be able to engage with their teachers that know them and love them and already know what their strengths are and what the areas are that they need improvement, which is not something that you can get by just taking a class, online from some other avenue. So
absolutely.
Really thrilled with that.
Yeah. And you touched on something really important too, that ability to be able to connect. And first of all, a big shout out to Zoom in general, because how many of us were Zoom experts before this, and now we're all about Zoom, right, Meghan? It's interesting to me because I know that one of the things that people are missing most is that connection and that socialization. So to be able to still be in community is so good for mental health as well as that artistic technique. And so that's
Absolutely.
an interesting piece of it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that goes, many different ways. That it helps our students for sure to be connected with their peers and have a way to engage with them and continue learning with them. We made sure to talk to our teachers about making time in the class to let the students connect with one another and socialize a little bit, and follow up on how they're doing and what's going on in their lives, because that's a huge part of the classroom experience. And, we talked a lot about we're losing the hallway time, that time where you catch up with your friends and you find out what's happening. We're losing the side conversations. So how can we make time for that in our virtual classroom? And I'm really proud of our teachers for making sure that happened. And the students, we saw a lot of messages as our semester was coming to a close of our students saying that, how much they're going to miss everyone and how they can't wait to see them again. And so that was honestly a big push for us to try to continue classes into the summer, which we are doing for the first time.
It's amazing, really. So talk about, I know that you surveyed the students and the families, and so talk about, what you found out from the surveys, if there's anything to add to what you had already said, and then, what happens for the summer and what we're offering.
I think for all of the students, but I think we've found this probably more comments regarding our theater classes where both adults and school-aged students were commenting that the class was the thing that they looked forward to the most during the week, and it was their chance to kind of forget what was going on in the world and reconnect with the people they had been in class with all semester. So for those students, they definitely were eager for some summer classes to continue that connection. And for our dance students, it's that connection, but also the training that they need to maintain their bodies and their stamina and their flexibility over the course of the summer so that we're ready to go full force when we're back in person, which we hope will be in the fall.
Right. I mean, there is so much that's unknown, but there are some things that are known, and, you guys have certainly been leaders within our organization to find out what the rules and the suggestions are and what's happening in other parts of the country. So talk about the summer a little bit, and what are the different options for people?
So we do, like I said, we have a number of online classes that are up on our website now, in both theater and dance. And again, we've never done a summer session in the summer before. We've had a few open ballet classes, but this is really a robust summer semester, if you will. So that's one option is a class. And then if you're looking for a larger commitment, we do still have our summer programs that we are going to be operating for preteens and teens in musical theater. And we are still working out some of the details for those. We certainly are going to be taking advantage of Zoom and doing a lot virtually, but also exploring what options we have to do some in-person activities as well. And we've been trying to communicate and talk with our families about that as much as we can as the situation continues to change. And I think that's what's been so important for everyone is just this understanding that no one has a crystal ball to figure out what's going to happen, and all we can do is really come up with a plan that is COVID proof, if you will, because we have to be ready for the possibility that we may be able to get back together in person soon, or we may have to take a step backwards, and so we're preparing for a program that can accommodate both of those scenarios.
Well, and I have to say, there's something very important about structure, especially in uncertain times. And I was just listening to research about this yesterday for mental health in general for every age out there, because many people have such a lack of structure if they're working from home. Okay, you need to work from home for certain hours, but that can easily blend one way or the other depending on the type of person you are. For kids that are home and are not taking classes online, there's even more need. But even for adults, it's that structure. And so as an adult, let's say we're interested in an online adult improv or online adult acting class. What does that look like? Can you give us a little idea about what we could expect?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, our incredible instructors, which I have an even greater appreciation for each and every day as we go through this. So doing a class online, using the Zoom platform, one of the reasons we chose it is because it does have a lot of great tools for a dramatic class, and those include breakout rooms so that you can have partnering happening in class, or for example, in an improv class, you may do exercises where everyone in the room knows something and this one other person has to figure out what's going on. Well, we have the ability to kind of, quote unquote, send them out of the room because of some of these functions. We have the ability to have two people go off in a virtual room and work on their scenes and work on their dialogue together, and then come back and present to the group. There's features with turning on and off video so that you can focus on just the two people who are involved in a scene and not be distracted by the other 6 people in the class. But lots of vocal activities, physical activities. Improv in general is based on so much listening and being present in the moment, and I think right now that's something that we're all kind of challenged by. We're thinking about what has happened. We're thinking about what's going to happen in the future. So to take a moment out of your life and be able to really just have it all be about focusing on the present and being in the moment is kind of a gift. It's
helpful for absolutely everybody, no matter what you do for a living and no matter what your age is. It helps to have that focus. But also, so cool to know that Zoom has that capability. I didn't even know it had that capability. So it's great for people to know that technology is not just when we're Zooming with our coworkers and our family members. There's a lot more to it than just that. Yes, and so for the online ballet and point or contemporary, obviously people become dependent on, if you need to make placement adjustments, that touch, right? So it's even more important, I would think, for people to be listening for teachers' corrections, or do they kind of save them all at the end or follow up individually? How does that work?
Well, our teachers are talking to our students about what their view is on the camera, and depending on what they're doing in class, making sure that they're able to see the part of the body that is essential for safety and correction. So that, that's a key part of it. But also, I can't stress enough, for our students to be able to continue learning with teachers that already know their habits is really important, because the teachers know to be looking out for those things while they're doing a virtual class.
Absolutely. There's no way that would be nearly as effective with a brand new relationship. No way. Because, there's a difference between seeing somebody in camera and having seen them in person and know what that three-dimensional look is, I would say.
Right.
Yes.
And we're focused on the safety too. So there are, there are certain things that we're not going to do in terms of leaps or jumps or turns, depending on the type of environment that the student is taking class in.
Right. And then, of course, the big question is our sellout summer programs, right? And so the big question is, how is the Hanover Theater and Conservatory going to adapt to that with the online environment? So talk to us a little bit about that, too.
We had a crash course in Zoom and virtual learning over the last 3 months, and I'm so impressed with where we were able to go with that and what our teachers learned through that experience. So I feel like we're really set up for success with handling our summer programs in an online format. And as I said, we are hopeful that we'll be able to do some things in person as well. But for now, being able to really understand the platform that we're using and utilizing the great instructors that we have at our disposal, that's how we're going to make it happen this summer. And our students, we had a call with families exactly 1 week ago, last Friday, families of our teen program, to talk about options and their excitement for the creative ideas that we were coming up with and the ways that we were going to approach the summer was really encouraging. And I know that my whole team left that Zoom call with all of those parents and students feeling really positive, more positive than we had in months, because of the enthusiasm and the excitement for the students to have something to look forward to this summer. And I think so many of them were really glad to not have us get on that call and say, it's not happening, it's canceled, because I don't know, for our students right now, so many things have been canceled or postponed, and so many major life events. When you think about yourself as a teenager or as a child, these are some big moments that they're missing out on. So it was great for us to say, we're not canceling. Here's what the options are.
Well, thank you so much for being such a bright spot right here in the heart of Worcester. Seriously, it's really awesome. And I know that sounds like an overused word, but in this case, it is awesome and amazing. And this situation is causing all new creative ways of thinking and solutions, and that's what's important in this world in general. So everybody, we do need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more behind the scenes with the Hanover Theater, and we'll take your questions. Thank you.
Behind the scenes at the Hanover Theater, your host Lisa Condon here. Of course, Megan here as well, Director of Education. You've been listening to the conversation. You can join in 774-364-8255. That's also the number where you can text. And indeed, we have a text from 774, and it's for Megan. And Megan, texter wants to know about voice-over classes, that form of acting, and he or she has put that into quotes, and thinks that it would be perfect for online classes.
Yeah, I agree. That's something that has come up a couple of times. We haven't quite explored going down that avenue of offering that as a class, but we are right now getting ready to put our fall classes together, and that's certainly something that, we're considering. We do have a number of voice teachers, primarily for singing, but this is something a little bit more unique and a little bit different, and I think that's a great idea. So we'll add it to the list for our fall considerations.
All right, Ben, I know that you put this up on our social media as well, so if any tweets come in, you can jump in. That was the text that I had right now. People want to jump in at 774-364-8255. But Lisa, I think that it's the resiliency is part of it. You and Meghan and everyone else at the Hanover just making all different kinds of things work.
That's what creativity and the performing arts are all about now, isn't it? Life is one big improv.
All right. I think no, I'm not laughing at that. I'm not laughing at that. I think Ben may have a tweet. I don't know if this is even a question. I guess I'll direct it at you, Lisa. Ugh. Cats.
Oh my God, Hank, we totally talked about that, didn't we? To the person who said ugh, cats. I get ya. I hear you. I've heard that. And then you have to think that the choreographer is the same choreographer as Hamilton. So this is not the tired cats. Now, truthfully, if you don't like the musical, then you're not going to like this either. But if you can't help but hum those tunes because those are the classics, Memories. Meghan is a way better singer than I am, obviously. She could carry that tune way better. But yes, Cats is part of our Broadway season, and people are very excited about it.
So I have a comment here from Jen on Facebook. She asked, when the Hanover comes back, what will the seating look like? And she's concerned that how will a less than full house or a lower capacity affect the performance?
Well, that is a great question, and the truth is we're in phase 4. So it does not make sense for our financial business models or the performers or the tours to do a reduced capacity in the theater. Instead, we are looking for options that might be socially distant and appropriate for the summer outdoors with Jazz at Sunset. We have a meeting later tonight to see whether we can still have those programs and what that would look like. Obviously, very different than it's been in the past. So what it looks like is it looks probably the new world, and we'll find out what that is. We're doing enhanced cleaning. We're looking into new technology that sterilizes things. We're looking to other theaters who have opened before us in other parts of the world and what they were able to do. So the good news is we will have lots of examples to follow. The not so great news is we won't be reopening our main stage until it's safe for us to do so. Mm-hmm. The other good news is we do have the Conservatory with those online classes and looking into more outdoor types of events.
And Lisa, to that point, it's actually wicked funny you said the outdoor events, because Ricky from Leicester literally just tweeted in asking about the outdoor events, saying that he's looking forward to actually seeing some more outdoor theater, and what will that look like, and to what extent is the Hanover going to pursue that?
Well, there are a lot of unknowns, and so we will keep researching what those options are and what it could look like. And we do have something exciting up our sleeves that I was told before this program I can't bring up. So stay tuned for future behind the scenes to find out what we have up our sleeves and what we're thinking. But in the very near future, 2 different things that we're talking about are the Jazz at Sunset and a new socially distant, perhaps a grid type of scenario, and whether that works for a safe and socially distant experience. We still have other issues to work out in that scenario. And then the other is, how could we potentially use the plaza in front of the theater as a space? So lots of unknowns, and we're remaining open and proactive.
But Lisa, the good thing about unknowns is it creates possibilities. So it's not just the fact that, we can't do this, we can't do that, but it allows you so that you can then explore those other possibilities.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And we also have the Brick Box Theater that will be able to open sooner than we will. And we're hoping that that's definitely going to be available for the fall, perhaps even later in the summer. And, we've had Olivia on the program. She's so dynamic, so creative. And we're looking to our community for other suggestions. But as we know, education in the conservatory, online opportunities, the way that we need to stay engaged with each other for right now.
All right, I don't know. I've gone a whole 4-hour shows. I haven't gotten 3 texts. Everybody is welcome to jump in as well. 774-364-8255. This one says that Hanover is an economic engine for the city. What is the support the city has given to Hanover?
Ooh, I'm going to pass on that for right now because I know the city is extremely supportive in that they would love for us to be able to do some outdoor events. They're our friend. They have other things to worry about, predominantly safety and other social issues right now. So when Troy comes back on, we'll let Troy answer that question. Or, hey, maybe we'll get the city manager on next time and he can answer for us.
With a side comment that just, it really feels like the city is doing all it can, and all of the community organizations are doing what they can to continue to be engaged with one another. And I know we've been on a number of calls with other, social service organizations trying to come up with programming for kids in the city for the summer. So that's definitely in the works, and people like Liz Hamilton of Boys and Girls Clubs are helping to lead that charge. And, I know that the city is going to be continuing to try to offer their Rec Woo program for kids this summer that we'll be involved in. So I know that doesn't speak specifically to what support we're receiving from the city, but I just wanted to note that there's some great collaboration happening.
I am so glad you jumped in with that, Megan. That's great. Thank you.
That really brings us towards the end of the show. 60 seconds, Lisa, just if you want to remind people of anything they need to know.
You know what? I would just encourage people to be safe. Check us out online. Our website, of course, is the Hanover Theater with an re.org, and also social media. Until next week, stay safe, and we hope to once again see you at the theater.